So this should definitely be a short video. I don't need timestamps, I'll put them anyway, but just to show you what I've been doing in the past, pretty much 16, 24 hours. Going over character stuff, again, wanted to get the characters definitely on straight, going into more dialogue. If you see this phrase XXXX in all capital, that's me redacting things. It took me like a minute to redact things, just so that I don't spoil anything, even though all of these are draft stuff anyway. So I'll slowly scroll down as I pretty much explain my process going through. Again, this happens near the beginning of game development. I do eventually loop back, so I do documentation, go in, program things, play test, and then that's pretty much the general cycle of those three things. But as I move over now, I'll go over some things here and there. For example, if I'm making a Japanese character, I try to think more in, Japanese terms. I'm not Japanese myself. I don't have any Japanese ancestry, but I did take, quite a few studies in Japanese, both myself and definitely educational. So yeah, and then on top of that, again, if you didn't know, I did used to write a lot of fiction in the past, but not on a professional level, so take that experience what you will. So I was really interested in the fantasy side of things, and I think I did like 2 sci-fi short stories. So I'm really interested in basically science and fantasy, but usually fantasy. So you'll see some fantasy type things here and there. But as it relates to the game, a little kind of I've talked about this before, a usual challenge, at least in RPG Maker, but definitely in any game really, is that making sure you write dialogue in the way that it flows well in game. That's a very specific thing to video games, obviously, because I'm talking about games, but yeah, not really much else to say there. There's, again, all of these are mainly drafts, so I could just end up changing a lot of these things, yeah, as I move on. And again, the game is not meant to be very large, so that's another challenge of just small games in general, but definitely Sabaku, because, yeah, if it's going to be a small game, then I have to fit in and, tell both the plot and provide a game while keeping both development and the game concise and short. But as we go into the next part of this video, which is going to be pretty much modifications that I made to graphics, yeah, basically made the faces bigger because they were a bit too small for my liking, and it would not convey the eventual changes that I would want to show you later on. So as I actually switch to the actual sprites as well, the ones at the bottom are more NPCs. You're not going to be able to play them. They are important to the story, though, so that's all I'll say on that. But yeah, I had to make some changes, and some of them I did modify for the sake of, keeping them in line with the art, or keeping the design kind of not consistent, because I usually like to mix styles and experiment here and there. But obviously some of these are already assets that I've purchased in the past for use in commercial projects, so in game development specifically. And here's the modifications. I will need these, so yeah, without further ado, not really much else to say. I do often like to use black silhouettes with red eyes. That is a common thing I like to do. I haven't used it in a past game that I've made before, so this will actually be a game that releases with me using these things. And of course, this goes without saying that, but still need to make sprites, maybe with characters lying down in separate poses, not too many, because it definitely extends the game time, not game development time. So what I mean by that is that if you have 4 to 8 characters and you all want them to have, say, a sitting animation, you have to draw a sitting animation for all of those characters. Now that being said, if you need that in your game, you definitely have to go through it. And so that's not really, it's not supposed to be a complaint, it's an observation. Same thing with character dialogue, or basically making different branches on a story-driven game, which means, say, if it takes, say, 30,000 words to make one ending. If you have 8 endings, you need to write 30,000 times 8 more words. So yeah, there's that. But going actually into developing the game at some point. Oh, you know what? I can actually just show you RPG Maker stuff. So you know what? I'll do that too. This video is already going on longer than I thought. But just to kind of show you, I forgot I did isolate this version of the project because I worked a bit more on it by now. But yeah, just getting into basically other assets again. So, not asset, tile sets, to basically test out the things I want to test out. Some of these are just stock RPGmakerMV for certain, but yeah, some of these are not, and that's all I'll say on that. But yeah, without further ado, not really much else to say. I'll just show this to you, and again, just putting these events on screen so I can see how they look like, move like in game, and see if there's anything else I want to make. But otherwise, again, yeah, not really much else to say. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, this will be part of the game development playlist, but yeah, not really much else to say. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!